There's no such thing as sight reading. And there's no such thing as pitchy. You can be in tune, you can be out of tune. You can be sharp, you can be flat. You can be in tune on some notes and out of tune on others, but pitchy isn't a thing. I first heard the term pitchy watching American Idol, when the judges were trying to describe and critique some vocalists who, many of them were very, very talented, but a lot of them were completely musically illiterate, and were trying to critique them in ways that a musically illiterate person would understand. They couldn't, for example, tell them, hey, the thirds of your chords were sharp, because they wouldn't have known what that meant. So they come up with this completely meaningless term of pitchy just to say it just overall didn't sound right. But this is not a term that you would use if you're trying to teach someone how to play or trying to learn how to tune. All tuning is contextual. You're always tuning by measuring from the previous note or to the following note, or you're tuning harmonically in regard to notes being played simultaneously above or below you. And the context of those sounds is the context of the melody or harmony of a scale or a chord. Just like the spelling of the scales and chords can be predicted if you recognize it visually, the sounds of the scales and chords, the melody and the harmony they make is also consistent, recognizable, and predictable, and you tune in regard to those melodies and harmonies. So this is why strobe tuners, the little light boxes, are not going to work, because the same note can tune hundreds of different ways depending on what its surrounding context is. So if you're trying to improve your tuning and your pitch, literacy is a great way to do that, because you can't find a sound with your ears if you don't know what it's supposed to sound like, for the same reason you can't find an object with your eyes if you don't know what it looks like. Right? Doesn't mean you have bad eyesight, don't know what the thing looks like. You can have great ears, still be wicked out of tune, because if you're trying to sing the melody of a dominant chord, you don't know it's a dominant chord, you don't know what dominant chords sound like, that's going to severely limit your ability to do so. If you're reading a melody walking up and down a major scale and you don't recognize it as a major scale, you have no idea what it's supposed to sound like. You learn how to spell scales and chords, recognize scales and chords visually. You can also predict those sounds. Now, I know some people are very, very talented. Some people have great ears. Some people can hear the melody once and sing it, play it, tune it perfectly. However, if you're musically literate, you don't have to hear it once. My name is Mark Dooley. I've been a private music teacher for 36 years, focuses on practical theory and music literacy. If you'd like to hear more, follow me. If you'd like lessons, contact me. If you can learn how to read words, you can learn how to read music.